All right, guys, I got an excellent question from the last video about protein. And what the guy asked was what I think the superior protein source is: red meat, eggs, or dairy. Now, first of all, let me say, if you got a question, please ask, okay? Because I will either answer it directly in the comment section, or if I think it's a good question like this one, I'll actually make a video like this one to explain my answer. And another thing I want to say is this is just my opinion based upon my experience and my research, okay? Everybody has different bodies, different goals, different workouts, okay? So just listen to what I've got to say. And if you have something else that's working, that's great. If you want to try what I'm doing, that's great. If you think I'm full of shit, keep it to yourself, because you're probably some little baby boy who's never worked out a day in your life, but you think you're the shit because you fucking read some study or you watched fucking The Game Changers or some bullshit like that. Okay, so first of all, there is no, in my opinion, perfect protein source, because you don't just eat a protein source. What you do is you eat a protein source that is part of a meal. That meal is part of the entire day's nutrition, and that entire day's nutrition, that diet, is used to support a workout that is used to get you to a certain goal. So if you have a different goal, you're going to do a different workout. A different workout, you're going to do a different diet. If you're doing a different diet, you're going to eat different meals. So the perfect protein source is going to change depending upon, basically upon your goal. However, I'm going to give you a few examples of how I use different protein sources. First of all, I just want to say my staple protein source is chicken breast. The reason is I eat a lot of protein, and I can eat chicken all day, every day, for years on end. I've actually done it, okay? Tuna, guess what? Whether it's a tuna steak, nice and grilled with lemon or whatever on it, or if it's tuna out of a can, I just can't eat so much of that. Okay, I just can't eat a lot of tuna because I don't like it. I could force myself to do it, but why should I if I actually enjoy eating chicken? It's easy to cook, it's relatively inexpensive, it's a great protein source. So that's basically one of the major reasons why I eat a lot of chicken. Another reason why I eat a lot of chicken is because it's basically pure protein. 200 grams weighed raw of chicken breast is like 220 calories, 47 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat, no carbs. Basically pure protein, basically 50 grams of pure protein. So if I want to eat a meal of nothing but protein, I got my 50 grams right there. If I want to go ahead and add in some fat, I just go ahead and take some nuts. Usually almonds, I'll take some nuts, go ahead and cook it in with the chicken, and that will increase the fat, will increase the calories, okay? So that's why I like chicken. Now, there are times when I need to drastically increase the calories, okay, and I don't want to just add in even more nuts, so I will change from chicken to my other staple protein source, which is 80% lean ground chuck, okay? 80% lean ground chuck is a very fatty meat. I could eat it all day, every day. Relatively easy to cook, relatively inexpensive. The difference is if you take 8 ounces of ground chuck, it's only 38 grams of protein. I like to have 50 per meal. So I will do one of a few things. Okay, if I want to keep it very lean, I will add in some liquid egg whites until I get like another 11, 12 grams of protein. Okay, so if I fry it, let's say I fry the ground chuck in a pan, I'll just go ahead and pour in like a cup or a half a cup of egg whites to increase the protein. Okay, what I'm doing currently is I'm having my 8 ounces of ground chuck with a half a cup of cottage cheese. 11 grams of protein increases from 38 to 49. Once again, almost 50 grams of protein. And if I really want to increase the calories and really want to increase the fat, then I'll just go ahead and I'll take 8 ounces of ground chuck and I'll put 2 whole eggs. That would be another 12 grams of protein, bringing it from 38 to 50 grams for the meal, and it would increase the calories, okay, by 140. So that's a pretty major increase in the calories from the 2 eggs, okay, and it's almost all fat. So depending upon how many calories, how much fat I want, I would take 8 ounces, and then I would add something else into it, okay? The reason why I don't eat more dairy, okay, as a protein source is because dairy in general, when there's protein, there's also a lot of carbs. Okay, lactose, okay, is basically milk sugar. Okay, there's a lot of carbs in any kind of dairy. So if I'm just gonna have one or two meals of like a half a cup of cottage cheese, that's okay. Okay, if I were to get like 50 grams of protein just from cottage cheese, I probably have to get like 2.5 cups of cottage cheese. Okay, that's a lot of cottage cheese. It's a lot to eat. I don't know if it would be so enjoyable to eat that several times a day. And also, like I said, it would be maybe a little bit expensive and certainly be a lot of carbs. Okay, so if you're looking to keep your carbs down, you need to be very careful about dairy. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's continue. At night, okay, I like to have a milk-based protein. Okay, talking about dairy, I like to have a milk-based protein source at night. So what I'll do is I will either drink a Casein protein shake, which is a form of milk protein, slowly digested. I drink that at night. And there are two things about Casein. First of all, it's slowly digested, which means if you're not going to eat all night, it slowly gets digested, slowly is released into your body, okay? So you're going to slowly absorb the protein all night, as opposed to, let's say, like a whey protein, which hits you, gets digested, and is gone, okay? Number one. Number two, it's very filling, okay? So like I say on my pure protein diet, I do suggest you eat as much whole food as possible, but if you have to have a shake for some reason, I suggest you use Casein because it will satiate your hunger longer, okay? Other options for the night are sometimes I'll take like 227 grams. I don't measure a cup or whatever of Greek yogurt, but I'll actually weigh it, put the ball on a scale and weigh it. 227 grams of plain, non-fat, unflavored Greek yogurt, and then I'll add in a scoop of whey protein. Together, that's once again like 50 grams of protein, okay? Because you don't use that much Greek yogurt, it's relatively low in carbs, okay? The whey protein is quickly digested, but when you combine it with the Greek yogurt, it is more slowly digested, okay? So it's okay for night. And the Greek yogurt, if it's plain, is unflavored, it's bland, but whatever flavor the whey protein is you mix in, it becomes basically like a pudding. So you can actually sit at the TV at night, just eat your pudding, okay? It's a relatively decent meal, actually. Once again, if you're going to have, I used to have like, 454 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I would just throw in some cinnamon powder for taste. But the problem is, once again, that's a whole lot of carbs, okay? So that's what I have at night. When would I use a quicker digesting protein, like let's say whey protein? This morning, okay? I woke up this morning, very first thing I had was 50 grams of protein from whey, and 50 grams of carbs from dextrose, pre-workout. Okay, why did I want a quick digesting protein? A couple of reasons. Okay, first of all, I haven't been eating all night since my Casein shake last night, so I wanted something that's going to hit my body quickly. But, okay, another reason is the dextrose, the carb source that I take, okay, is going to raise my blood sugar. The blood sugar is going to cause my body to produce insulin. Insulin is a storage compound, okay, which is a good thing sometimes because if I'm taking in whey protein, it's going to be quickly digested, ready to be used, and the insulin is going to cause it to be stored in your body, okay? So it doesn't make sense for me to take a slow digesting protein source like Casein and with dextrose. It would be stupid because the Casein is slowly digesting. Meanwhile, I get this insulin spike and I'm not really using it to the utmost of its potential, okay? The real reason I'm taking the dextrose is to fuel my workouts, okay? Because if I'm doing like high intensity intervals, I do better with carbs than without. So that's the real reason for the dextrose. But it is going to spike my blood sugar, so I might as well take in a quick-acting protein that will actually be stored by the insulin spike to get something out of it, okay? Another reason why I take in a quick digesting protein right before the workout is because I want to have something in my body available to protect my muscles from catabolism. I mean, there are, especially when you talk about fasted workouts, fasted cardio even, there's studies, there are just people who talk about their experiences with actually catabolizing muscle, losing strength, because you're actually feeding upon your own muscles, okay, when you're working out in a fasted state. So by having this protein available, okay, it is going to prevent muscle catabolism. So once again, like I said, that's the reason why I take a quick digesting protein. Sometimes people ask about adding in an oil, flaxseed oil, olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, whatever, to a protein shake. That's fine. Do not do it if you're adding in carbs, okay, for a couple of reasons. First of all, you don't want to mix carbs and fats. Talked about that in other videos. But another reason is I want a quick digesting protein, okay? I'm going to take in the dextrose, which is going to cause an insulin spike. Why would I take fat at the same time, which is going to slow the digestion of everything that I'm eating, okay? I want this stuff in my body quickly. I want to be working out in like a half an hour after I drink this. So why would I take in fat in the form of oil, which would slow the digestion, okay? So pre and post workout, if you're taking in carbs and if you're taking in whey protein, do not add fat to that shake, okay? And then, like I said, after the workout, I do the same shake, 50 grams of protein from whey, 50 grams of carbs from dextrose, plus 5 grams of creatine, 10 grams of glutamine. And yeah, that's when I would take in a fast-acting protein. Okay, the rest of the day I don't take in any carbs. The rest of the day I don't take in any whey protein. Okay, just at those times. Now, let's talk about dairy. Okay, dairy does have its place, but not as a protein source for me because I always try to keep things low carb. Okay, so what I use dairy for actually is to increase my caloric intake in the form of fat. Okay, so what do I do if I'm not doing high intensity interval training as a part of my workouts? Okay, if I'm basically just going there, I'm doing like heavy weighted dips, heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, just going to the gym, stretching, doing heavy workout, and then leaving, and not really doing a whole lot of like burpee intervals, jump rope intervals, squat tuck intervals, stuff like that. If I'm not doing a whole lot of stuff like that, what I'll end up doing is basically just taking in a lot of protein and a whole lot of fat, okay? So in that case, I would drink, let's say, a shake before the workout of half a cup of whole milk, half a cup of heavy cream, 3 raw eggs, and some milk and egg protein powder. Throw some cinnamon powder in for taste. It's an excellent shake. It fills my stomach up. It gets slowly digested throughout the whole workout, okay? And like I said, very low carb. Now, I'm not taking the heavy cream, which has very little protein, as a protein source. I'm taking it as a fat source. And the same thing with the whole milk, okay? As a matter of fact, even the eggs, I'm not taking in as a source of protein. Now, eggs are the ultimate protein source. Eggs are the level. Like if you judge the efficiency, okay, the way your body uses a protein, it is always based upon egg. It's compared to egg, okay? So egg protein is like the standard, and everything's a little bit better or a little bit worse than egg protein. So eggs are like the perfect protein food, but that's theory, because in real life, the fact of the matter is they have a whole lot of fat in them too. So like I said, when I use dairy, when I use eggs, I do not use them as a protein source. I use them actually as a fat source most of the time. Okay, like I said, by low carb cutting and bulking books, you'll see I'm drinking raw eggs. Okay, I'm having shakes with heavy cream and raw eggs, or heavy cream and whole milk and raw eggs. Okay, and like I said, yes, I am getting protein in from the eggs, but that's not the reason why I'm adding them in. Really, the reason I'm adding them in really is for the calories, the fat, the cholesterol, which is a hormone precursor for testosterone, but I'm not taking the eggs as a protein source because they're very inefficient. Because like I said, they're the opposite. They're the opposite of chicken. Okay, whereas chicken's basically lean, pure protein, no carbs, and very little fat. Eggs are protein, and they're a good protein source, but they're also a whole lot of calories and a whole lot of fat. Okay, and like I said, you cannot scale down when you have something with a lot of fat in it. Okay, so those are my protein sources. As you can see, if I'm taking in carbs because I'm doing a workout with a lot of intervals, then I'm going to have a completely different pre and post workout shake than if I'm not doing the intervals, where I'm just doing strength training, in which case it's a lot more fat and 0 carbs, okay? Like I said, I don't use dairy as a source of protein. I use it as a source of fat. Same thing with eggs, okay? And once again, all this is based upon my goal, okay? If your goal is just to get stronger and more muscular, you don't need carbs. If your goal is just to get leaner and maintain your muscle, you don't need carbs, okay? If your goal is to increase athletic performance, you're going to be doing a lot of sprint anaerobic type of work, you need carbs. Because you need carbs, you're gonna have to change around your fat and your protein sources, okay? So there is no such thing as the absolute perfect protein source. It's just the perfect protein source for this meal, for this diet, to support this workout, to get you to this goal. So speaking of goals, if you just want to get big and strong, okay, without getting fat, or if you want to get lean without losing muscle, okay, go ahead and check out the link below, Low Carb Cutting and Bulking, and then you'll see everything you need to know about how to be low carb, just taking a lot of fat, a lot of protein, and adjust the amount of calories, adjust the amount of fat to whether you're trying to build muscle without getting fat, or if you're trying to get leaner without losing any muscle. If you're one of the few people who actually does do high intensity interval type workouts, like I am doing right now, okay, and you do have to worry about carb intake, check out my Anaerobics Diet 3.0. It's also linked down below in the description, and that will explain to you how to take in your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and your total calories to support your workouts, to support your recovery, but at the same time to keep you as lean as possible and get you leaner at the same time. All right, guys, any questions, please ask them in the comment section. I guarantee you I'll either get back to them or I'll answer them in another video. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.